Imagine you want to open a new restaurant and you're looking for investors. You've got to pitch your idea and show them your business plan, but let's be honest, that can be a dry stuff. What would be a better way of presenting your idea? Invite your potential investors to a dinner. After seeing and trying your amazing dishes, they would be much more likely to invest in the restaurant. The best way to convince someone to try something new is by letting them taste it. When you have a SaaS product instead of a restaurant, a prototype is your sampling dish. Hi, I'm Eleken, the founder of Eleken, product design agency for SaaS, and today I will tell you how the prototype can help you to get funding. First of all, why do you need a prototype? Isn't your genius idea enough to get you funding? There are three reasons. First, financial. People prefer to invest in something real, even if it's just a prototype, rather than the idea, which is essentially an investment in the air. We don't know all the rationales behind the investors' decisions, but there is one thing I can tell you for sure. Investors want to make sure that the startup's idea will turn into an actual product and set to the market. That's why often a genius idea is not enough to get funding. The best way to attract investors' attention is to show them that some work is already done. It is a sign that the project is serious and their money won't be wasted. When you're looking for a Series A funding, you would have to show a number of metrics, but at seed funding or pre-seed stage, presenting a prototype is enough. In this video, I'll focus on the seed stage. Second, psychological. It is better to see once than hear 10 times. This proverb is old as a world, but it's true for pitchers and investors. They have to make a serious financial decision, and of course, they have to consider rational arguments, numbers, statistics, markets, but what they might not acknowledge is how much impact a well-designed prototype has. Remember, a good pitch and good-looking prototype have a big influence on a financial decision. Okay, hope I have convinced you that prototype matters. Next comes the question, do you really need to invest in a good design for a prototype when you are tight on a budget? Well, as a design agency owner, I can be objective about that. Let's phrase it differently. Is it possible to get funded without a good design? Yes, it is possible. I'm pretty sure that there were cases when founders get funded with badly designed or without any prototype at all. There are no statistics about it. From my personal experience, I can assure that the startups with well-designed prototypes have a pretty high chance to get funded. And when the life of your product depends on that funding, I bet you have to do whatever it is possible to increase your chances. Now let's talk about different funding sources beyond venture capitalists. Crowdfunding. I think crowdfunding is an awesome way to get money for your project. In most cases, crowdfunding is a good for non-profits, arts and music projects or physical products or gadgets. Fun fact, crowdfunding is not a Kickstarter invention. Back in the 9th century, Mozart used to crowdfund his tour. He raised money and gave a concert manuscript to each supporter. Past 2 centuries, music projects are still popular in crowdfunding platforms. But is it possible to crowdfund a SaaS? Well, crowdfunding is not the most popular solution for a SaaS so far, but there are some fundings that make this funding source preferable. First, you don't have the same level of liabilities as when you get funding from VC investors. And second, you earn audience before the product is launched. That's the dream of every SaaS founder. Let me explain to you a bit more about how crowdfunding for software works. You can choose between 3 types. Donation-based, people pledge because they believe in the product and genuinely want to support it. They get no reward. GoFundMe is an example. Rewards-based. These are the classical crowdfunding platforms where backers are offered rewards depending on the size of the donation. For $10 you get a thank you, for $20 you get a thank you mention on the website, and for $30 you get a thank you letter in the mailbox. Works best for physical products and art objects, however, the software is also accepted. The most popular are Kickstarter and Indiegogo. Equity-based. Backers get some equity in the return for their donation. Basically, it's a crowd investing, but instead of having one investor or a VC firm, you can get a huge number of small investors. Examples, Seed Invest and Fundable. These platforms have smaller audience than Kickstarter, but they are better adapted to the startups in comparison to the others. For example, on Kickstarter, software projects make less than 1% of all funded projects. Is it because fewer projects are applying or because it is hard to succeed? We don't know. The only thing we can say is that there were successful cases of apps funded through crowdfunding platforms, and you can be one of them too. Some examples are For Privacy, Zero Codes Epsilon, and Momentum Planner. What's great about crowdfunding is that you get to test your product before you developed it. People vote with their dollars, and you know for sure that there is someone willing to pay for your product. That's something that venture capitalists can't always guess. Okay, let's go back to prototypes. Do you need a prototype to raise money on crowdfunding platform? On Seed Invest, an equity crowdfunding platform, the minimum requested amount is $500,000. It means that the investor's risk is much bigger than on Kickstarter. That's why the control over projects is much stronger. A project without a prototype won't be accepted on the Seed Invest. Just a great idea is not enough to go through the initial selection and get published on the platform. Even on Kickstarter, all the products need to have a prototype to be listed. However, there is less control, and for software, a mockup would be enough. Enough to get listed but not to get maximum funding. A good prototype will increase your chances to reach the goal. On Kickstarter, 10% of projects fail to deliver a result. You have to prove to people that you won't be one of them. Now that you know more about alternative sources of funding, we can get to the main topic: how to make a prototype to secure funding. Startup teams can be very different. Sometimes you're lucky to have a product designer on board, but often there are only a couple of developers. That was the case with Stromzero, a code security app, a product for developers created by developers. They had the code ready and came to Eleken agency for prototype design. In 1 month, a designer created a prototype from scratch. It had all the main features, it was usable and good looking. They got funding, and with time passing, the product is developing and the design is evolving too. The prototype serves the first draft version of a product. Would Stromzero get funded without the prototype? We can't know, but for sure, investment in a quality design does pay off. If I could give you just one advice on making a prototype, it would be this one: focus on the main and cut out all the rest. When you're looking for early stages funding, time is precious. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you soon.